Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Mizumani G. Yes, it's time to do another movie review. This is for Shark Week, and it's the sequel to The Reef called The Reef Stalked. Yes. Now, The Reef Stalked is a 2022 Australian horror film. It was written and directed by Andrew Traki. The film stars Teresa Liane, Sasha Archer, Anne Trelong, and Kate Lister. Now, in this film, after a sister's murder, Nick and her younger sister and two of her friends seek solace through a Pacific Island kayaking adventure. Hours into the trip, the women are stalked by a great white shark and must band together in order to survive. Oh boy, here we go again. These people never learn. Sharks are for real. Now, horror fans, we've seen our fair share of shark movies since Jaws came out back in 1975. We cannot simply get enough of seeing people getting attacked and eaten by sharks since Jaws came out. However, recently we've seen a change in this subgenre when the survival horror film Open Water was released in 2003. We're now getting a bunch of survival horror films where we have a similar premise that Open Water had. You know, you strand a nice looking couple or nice looking people in the middle of the ocean or in the middle of nowhere with very little to no gear while also trying to avoid being attacked by a shark or sharks. You know, Open Water went on to have two sequels with this setup, along with the 2016 movie The Shallows and 2017 with 47 Meters Down. They all have the similar premise. Now, back in 2010, Australian film director Andrew Traki brought us his entry into this subgenre called The Reef. So now, 12 years later, Andrew now brings his standalone sequel called The Reef Stalked. Now, the setup in here is very simple as we're introduced to Nick, an avid diver who, after a tragedy involving her sister Kath, reunites with her friends Lisa and Jody along with her younger sister Annie to another diving adventure. Now, when paddling across the ocean, they're attacked by a great white shark, and now they must band together in order to survive this terrible nightmare. Yeah, see, again, people don't learn, especially in Australia. There are lots of sharks in that area, and they still do it, and they still can continue with this type of behavior. Now, the one thing I do love what Andrew does in this film, he knows how to get some great shots in and around his native country of Australia. He takes full advantage of the gorgeous beaches, the glistening and colorful ocean, and the bright sky above. Cinematography is fantastic. This film looks beautiful. Andrew also knows how to take full advantage of the location in Australia that are very isolated, which creates the type of atmosphere that you need in a film like this. You know, he did that in the mangrove that we saw in Backwater and the deep sea cave that he used in the standalone sequel to that called Backwater Abyss, you know, where the mangrove is there and there's nothing there other than the big crocodile, saltwater crocodile that we saw in Backwater. And the same thing where we have the five people dive caving into this cave, and we have again another saltwater crocodile that attacks them, but it's all isolated. There's no one around in those two movies. However, there's something missing in this film as it lacks the type of bite that the Reef and the Backwater had. I mean, first off, there's very little to no character development with Nick, Annie, or her sisters, or her friends. Now, despite the tragedy that happens in the beginning of the film, we learn little or nothing about Annie or Nick or her sister Annie, which doesn't allow the audience to care what happens to them when the shark starts to attack. You know, it's like this. We see the tragedy, we feel sorry for her sister, and then next thing you know, 9 months appears and they're back out, but nothing. That's it. What's even worse for Lisa, it's even worse for Lisa and Jody as we absolutely know nothing about them other than they seem to be a couple, which I have no problem with. Hey, if you want to be a couple, fine, but where's the character development between? What is their relationship with Nick? You know, aren't they angry with her to the fact that she took off after her sister died and they didn't even come to her and she didn't even stay? Shouldn't they be angry? We get none of that instance between Lisa and Jody. They're just there. Now, while the film looks beautiful, the effects are kind of so-so, and we really don't get to see that type of gore in this film. Just some blood in the water after a shark attacks, but at least the shark looks real enough to create some type of tension that you need in this type of film, but that's about it. Now, we do finally get some type of character development between Nick and Annie by the time we get to the third act of the film, but it's kind of too late and it feels kind of forced in. It's kind of like Andrew's like, hey, wait a minute, we really didn't resolve any type of issues that Annie might have felt for her sister because she had to stay there and deal with their mother's depression, her depression, while Nick took off. I think to some place in South America. I mean South not America, South Africa. I think that's what the film station she's been at. But by the time we get to that part, we really don't care. It's just and it feels forced. Overall, while it's not the worst shark film I've seen, it simply just lacks the bite that we've seen in other survival shark films. It's definitely not The Shadows. It's definitely not 40 meters, 47 meters down. Not better than his first film, The Reef or Backwater. I mean, even Backwater Abyss is a little bit better than this. So I'm going to give The Reef Stalked only 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. That's only going to get 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. It's okay. It's just not enough to be fair, but because of the great cinematography and the film looks decent, so I'll give them credit for that. But with the lackluster performances of the actresses, I can't really fault them because they're working with a very terrible script, but they really don't do anything to energize that because you can have a terrible script, but the acting is kind of meh. And there's really not much suspense in the film, no type of danger for these girls to be in there. So only gets 1.5 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. So there you have it, guys. That's my video for today. Hope you did enjoy. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share. It really does help out with the YouTube algorithm. If you have seen The Reef Stalked, what you thought about it, please leave your comments in your comment section below and tell me what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Money G, and always remember that horror rules. And I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.